Hey everyone, John here, coming to you guys from inside my new chicken coop. Wanted to give you guys a quick little tour of that. I've had a few people ask for another update video on my little chicken flock, so I thought I would share that with you guys and let you guys see the new coop that I put out. Today is the first day. Today is moving day for the chickens coming into the coop, and they are very, very content with it. Here's Mr. Rooster giving his little nod of approval there. There you go. Yeah, he likes it in here. We got his little girls around here and a few little girls up here. These little fluffy butts. These Wyandottes don't like me very much, but the Rhode Island Reds are real friendly. The Rhode Island Reds, they are full of sass. They run the roost here. I mean, they really do. They are sassy girls, but they're also really friendly with me. So, good little chickens. I really like the Rhode Island Reds. And Mr. Rooster, he's a good little rooster. Well-natured. He doesn't flog or attack or anything like that. He's real well-natured, real nice. And he just does that thing that all roosters do, where they crow all the time. Which, you know, I suppose I can't complain about that. He is a rooster. But he does all the things a rooster's supposed to do. He does his little chicken dance and mates with the chickens and fertilizes the eggs and all that. And well, he's just a good little chicken. So doesn't attack me. The only time he's ever shown any aggression towards me is when I've been clipping the feathers on the hens. And the hens, when I'm chasing them down, they sometimes will make a bit of a ruckus. And, you know, they start cackling and all that, like they're being attacked, and he will come and try to protect them. So, I suppose that's what he's there for. And so, he's a good rooster, and a good rooster to breed from. And that's why I intend on doing it. I've got a few eggs incubating from him right now, actually. So, we'll see how they turn out. He seems like a good rooster, and he matured really quickly. He's got some good size to him. He's 19 weeks old right now, and he is a big boy. So, anyway, wanted to show you guys the coop here. So, let's start from the outside. And I'll give you guys sort of the rundown of it, so let's get to that. Okay guys, here's the chicken coop from the outside. I'm going to give you guys just a brief rundown on how I built this and some of the specs and whatnot, in case you decide you want to try something similar to this. So this is an 8-foot by 8-foot chicken coop, but you can make it whatever size you want. You can make it 8-foot by 12 feet, 8-foot by 10 feet, 8-foot by 16 feet. But you are going to need to have it 8-foot wide if you're going to use this size of PVC pipe. Now, if you want to use longer PVC pipe, you can make it as, you know, as big as you want, right? It'll just get taller as you do it. But in this case, I wound up with about a 6.5 foot tall, or about maybe a 6.25 foot tall coop on the inside. And I did that using 8 by 8, so 8 feet wide. That's what's going to affect your height, and 16 foot PVC for the hoop. Now, the PVC was 2 pieces of PVC. Each hoop is 2 pieces of PVC coupled together. So they're 8 foot each. Now, when you buy them, they'll be 10 feet, so you'll have to cut 2 feet off of each one. And you want to make sure that when you attach them, you want to make sure you give them adequate time to cure whenever you apply your cement. And if you don't apply cement, it will not work. You can't just fit them together like you can take it apart. Not that you'd want to anyway, because this thing's going to be covered in chicken wire, and it's not like you'll be able to take it apart at any time if you want to anyway. So they have to be cemented, and make sure you use 1/2 inch PVC. I tried using 3/4 inch. The 3/4 inch was nice and rigid and strong, but there was so much tension on it that it actually broke one of the couplings. So I ended up actually just taking that apart and replacing it with 1/2 inch, and it's a lot better. So it's much better and much more secure, much more stable, a lot less tension on it. It ended up getting really secure and really solid anyway once it was all sheathed up and everything. I'll show you how that's done. So we've got 1 by 3 batten boards here, or 1 by 3 furring strips that are acting as batten boards. And I've got them 3 on each side, 1 in the middle, and then 3 on each side again. And they run the length of it. They attach to the PVC pipes, and they keep the PVC pipes 2 feet apart consistently across the length of this, and that provides that shear strength, or helps to provide shear strength. On top of that, we've got chicken wire added to it. It's thrown over the top. This is 8 foot by 8 feet, so 4 foot chicken wire. Just throw it over twice, and you're good to go. You can weave it together, and then put you some chicken wire on the front and on the back. You're good to go. Door's framed. The whole thing's made out of pressure treated 2x4s. Got 2 hinges on the door. Important note whenever you frame up your door, I did this using sort of a redneck pocket joint, right? So I didn't do, or pocket hole. So find you an example of it here. I didn't drill a pocket hole. I just drove the screws in at an angle. And so long as you get some good long screws, you can get by with that. So a little trick whenever you're building these doors. I hear you, Mr. Rooster. Little trick when you're building these doors. Make sure that you run the bracing from the top outermost corner down to the hinge. That puts all the weight. This is where your door is going to sag at. This is why you want to take this weight and put it on that hinge, and that supports it so your door does not sag. So this is a mobile tractor. This tractor is being moved from where I built it, but between the framing and bracing and the clearances I've got in the reveal between the door, it is still smooth. It doesn't catch. So just a little helpful tip with that. Whenever you're doing that, make sure you give yourself a little bit of room with the reveal, and make sure you've got yourself a bracing that runs from the outermost corner down to the lower hinge. So over top of that, we've got tarp. This is just a silver. This is a 9mm tarp from Harbor Freight. You can get a tarp from Walmart or whatever. They have 10mm tarps at Walmart. Now I mentioned that I use 16-foot PVC pipe. That's important when determining the size of your tarp. So if you decide you want a taller coop and you decide to do 18-inch PVC hoop, or 18-foot, not 16-inch. I use 16-foot PVC hoops. If you decide you want to use like an 18-foot PVC hoop and get a larger, taller coop, or if you want to go a little bit wider and maintain your height, you'd use a longer hoop, yada yada. You can kind of figure that out yourself, right? The length of your PVC pipe needs to also be the length of your tarp, at least in one dimension. So 16-foot PVC pipe, I've got a 16-foot by 11-foot tarp, and so I've got the 16-foot dimension running over this, and so the 11-foot dimension goes this way. Because this is 8 feet by 8 feet, then I've got 3 feet hanging over here. There's 3 feet left of tarp right here, and if I unhook this, I've got those bungee cords on both sides. I can pull that back over this and cover the back, and it'll cover about 90% of it, and there's only a little area about right in there that doesn't get covered. So you can really warm this place up real quick, keep the wind out. But right now where it's so warm out, I want that wind coming through for them. So anyway, that's the exterior. Let me give you guys a little tip though. If you decide to build one of these, might save you a little bit of time, help you get these a little bit tighter. I'll show you that on the inside. So let's go ahead and latch this. It's a good idea to get a latch for the inside and outside, so while you're in here you can still latch the door so it doesn't open up while you're in here getting eggs. You can see there's this piece of chicken wire here that's run around the front, and you can see it right there. What you need to do is you need to take that extra chicken wire. Whenever you clip it, you're going to have little ends of wire, and you're going to want to make sure you leave a little bit of that, and you're going to weave it back into this other chicken wire. And you can see the same thing on both ends, and it's maybe a little easier for you to see here in the middle. So where this is 4-foot chicken wire, there's a seam right down the middle of this coop right here, and you can see where there's a space in that chicken wire. So what I've done is every now and then I clip one of these, and that makes 2 little fingers that I can bring in around this other piece and wrap it around it. And that lets you weave it together. And that once again is just going to join these 2 pieces. It's going to give you more structural stability. Now each of these, this chicken wire is stapled to these batten boards, and once again, the more places you can secure it and to the more things you can secure it, the more stable the structure is going to be. So this is a really stable structure right now. Okay, so anyway, that is enough of the framing of this. I just want to give you guys all the information for how I did this, or as much as is feasible. So let's go and take a look at the inside of the coop here and how I've got it laid out. So of course, here's the door. We'll step back here and let you kind of see. So we've got boardwalk right there. We've got a little board Had some pieces of trim left over, poplar trim. I believe that was, or maple or something. Just nailed that onto pressure treated 2x4 for them to walk up to the coop. Now everything that's above the ground, the roosts and these batting boards, are all non-pressure treated lumber. These are all things that the chickens would have prolonged contact with, and I don't want them to have contact with those chemicals. So these are all just regular lumber. The roosts are regular lumber, and they shouldn't have any problem rotting because they're not ground contact and they're under shelter. We've got two regular 2x2s here for the roost. Hindsight's 2020. If I would have known at the time I was going to attach my nesting box under there, I would have used 2x4s and placed the narrow end facing up like this, just so it would have a little more stability for the coops, or for the nesting boxes, because they do have a little bit of movement in them if you push down on them. So it's not bad, but you know, hindsight's 2020. I might have used 2x4s, not sure, but Mr. Rooster, what have you got to say? Well, you're camera shy. But yeah, that's pretty much that for the roost. The buckets, what I've done is I took a screw right down here. You can see it if I zoom in, maybe it'll focus. Screw down there and screwed this board to these buckets. And this is 1x3, same stuff as the batting boards. This is 2x2 here, run across those, same as the roosts. And this is again 1x3, same as the batting board right there. Helps to keep the hay in. And you'll notice I doubled up on the 2x2 here to get the angle of the bucket, because they're narrower at the bottom. I wanted the angle to be slightly facing downward, so that if the eggs roll anyway, they'll roll towards the back. Don't want them rolling out and busting. So that's pretty much the interior. The chickens are pretty happy, I think. They've already dug this ground up really well. This was all covered in grass this morning. They've been in here about 5 hours, and they've done some damage to us. So good job, girls and gentlemen. Let me introduce you guys to our special boy here. This is Mr. Stumpy. That's what I call him. And he is a special little boy. He doesn't like the camera too much. He doesn't like me too much. But he's not a normal rooster. He doesn't crow. He doesn't mate with the girls. He's a big scaredy cat. He doesn't watch the other girls eat. Like when the girls eat, like he'll find food and pick it up. Like the other rooster, our big boy here, our big good boy. Yeah, that's you. He will sit and like pick up food. He'll go and pick up food and call his hens over and all that, and they'll come over and he'll just kind of keep guard and everything, and he does his little calls. If he sees a bird or even a leaf falling out of a tree, he'll make a sound and let them know that there's something going on. Right? This little guy here, I don't know what's going on with him. He's smaller. He hasn't matured correctly, and he's not mating with the girls. He's not crowing. So honestly, I was gonna put him in the freezer, and I kind of decided not to. I had 3 roosters. I put one of them in the freezer. I decided not to put him in the freezer just for the fact that he's not mating with the other chickens and he's not crowing, so he's not hurting anything. I don't want him passing on his genetics, because I am breeding from this flock here, but he's not mating. If he does mate, I think the other rooster kind of lets him know that's not cool. But anyway, yeah, he's kind of at the bottom of the pecking order, so he just kind of is chilling out. One thing I forgot to mention when I was going over the build of this coop is what makes it portable, because this is a pretty hefty built coop, and it can be it's a little heavy to move around. So I want to show you guys that real quick. So what I have here is I have a 5/8 inch bolt here, and that corresponds to the axle size of my tires. So right now I've got them just sort of plugged up there. They're plugging holes in. They're multi-purpose, right? Everything here needs to be multi-purpose. If it's just going to be hanging loose here, we can use it for something else. So we've got these bolts here, one on this side and one on this side. Same setup. And the wheel simply has a 5/8 inch axle hole. You just pick the tractor up, slide it right onto that axle, and do that for the other side, and you've got a mobile tractor. Pick it up. When the wheels aren't in use, they can plug holes. But I've got the other wheel on the other side plugging a hole. You can see it right there. And this is a handle to pick it up and move it. It's a little too close. I'll probably end up just adding a rope to it, and that'll get me a little more distance between it to make it a little easier to move. But that is how this chicken is made mobile, and it works really well. Those are 10-inch pneumatic tires, so they let me get in here out of the shade where the light's a little better. 10-inch pneumatic tires, and they work really well. You just got to keep them aired up. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it and found it useful or informative. Hope you are entertaining or something. You stuck around this long, so hopefully it was one of those things. But I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.